Oh,
whoever
there
that
we go.
was.
Perfect. Cheryl, we welcome you. You are the spiritual leader of Unity Kitchener. We have enjoyed a couple of your talks already from the beginning of this year and enjoyed it very, very much. So we look very much forward to this one. What's in a word? I'm going to shut down the slides and let you take over. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you, Marilyn. The power of words, right? That's why I thought that song, One Power, is just was so appropriate for my talk today. So what's in a word? As many of us have experienced, words have incredible power. They shape our thoughts and communicate our ideas. Some words carry deeper meaning than others, and some are loaded with heaviness. They carry weight, emotional baggage, if you will. And I'm not talking about the kind of baggage you check in at the airport. I mean, that the kind that makes a simple word feel so heavy, sometimes even overwhelming. Have you ever noticed that one of these words is God? Just saying that word out loud probably lands differently for each of you. For some, it might bring comfort, connection, warmth, a sense of belonging. For others, it might be more complicated, triggering memories of strict rules, judgment, fear, or even rejection. And for some of us, it might bring up something in between. It really depends on how we grew up and were taught to know God. So I'm going to give you an example. When I was a little girl, I had a friend who lived near my house that I used to walk to play with. During school holidays, I would sometimes go with her to her church, which I loved because we used to color in and do arts and crafts. However, growing up in a traditional Jewish home, by traditional, I mean lighting the candles for Shabbat, having Friday night Shabbat dinner, and celebrating the high holy days, I would feel strange going with her to a church. As long as I didn't have to pray or say the name Jesus Christ, because we Jewish people didn't do that. In fact, I was afraid even to speak his name. I wonder why. You know, we never spoke of him. And maybe that's why, because we never spoke of him. I never heard conversations about Jesus. And so for me, it was something that we didn't touch. Anyway, my friend told me how God had a very specific plan for us, for each one of our lives. And if we made the wrong choices, we would fall out of favor with him and we would be punished. We would be called sinners and we could go to hell. Oh my goodness. For me, that was scary and it didn't sound like fun. I think I knew I had to make a new friend. No, just kidding. Maybe you too were taught that God is like an old man in the sky, a distant authority figure, keeping track of your every move, rewarding some and punishing others, a God who had favorites, a God who could be angered or pleased, depending on how well you performed. For years, that was my image of God, a being with human-like emotions, prone to judgment, who required my obedience. And if we struggled, well, maybe we just weren't praying enough, or maybe we weren't being good enough. But here's the thing. That image of God never felt like a fit for me. It felt small. It felt restricting. There must be more to God than that. I remember as a child, and I may have shared this before, I would ask my father, I know God made everything, But who made God? I was always curious, wanting to understand who we are, where we come from, and why we were here. My curiosity led me to explore many different philosophies and belief systems. I read many books. I attended different events that explored different philosophies, questions, I had other questions like what was in the Dead Sea Scrolls that they just found, um, anything spiritual or what's relevant to life after death or anything like that, I would be drawn to. The more I could learn, understand, and expand my thinking, the better. I think I'm still like that. Sometimes that can be a problem, but anyway. When I came across Neil Donald Welch's Conversations with God books and Deepak Chopra's Quantum Healing in the early 90s, I started thinking about everything being energy. Everything that exists being energy vibrating at a different level, vibrating at a different frequency. I started to see this interconnectedness of mind, body, and the universe. I had found a new way of thinking about creation, a new way of thinking about God. Then, when I came to Unity in 2006, I heard things that truly resonated with me, that God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. To be quite honest, at first I didn't know what those words meant. But when I learned one power, one presence everywhere, yes, right? That unity is non-denominational and follows the teachings of Jesus, not praying in the name of Jesus as our Savior. I could live with that. Jesus showing the way, a person like you and me being a great example. That we interpret the Bible metaphysically, we don't take it literally. Wow, this felt good. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, gives us a broader view of God as well. He said, God is not a being with qualities or attributes, but is the good itself, all of the good there is. God is not loving, but is love, not wise, but is wisdom, not strong, but is strength. Those were Charles Fillmore's words. Let that sink in for a moment. God is not a being who sometimes chooses to love. God is love. God is not sometimes wise. God is wisdom itself. Not a ruler separate from us, judging us from above. The very essence of life moving through and all around us. So what does that mean? It means we are not separate from God. We are part of it. Emma Curtis Hopkins, one of the great New Thought teachers, described it beautifully. She said, God is the name we give to that which is the cause of all things, yet is itself uncaused. Think about that for a second. If God isn't a person deciding things from afar, then what is God? God is the breath you just took, the love you feel when you hold someone dear, the creative force moving through every atom, every star, and every blade of grass. Now we're not talking about a small, limited God anymore. We're talking about something vast, something limitless. Let's explore our understanding a little further. In the Bible, in Genesis, it says, humanity was made in the image and likeness of God. So what does that mean metaphysically? And metaphysically means beyond the physical. It can't be about physical appearance because God isn't a physical being. We know that. God is an eternal force of omnipotence, omnipresence, and omniscience. To be made in the image and likeness of that creative energy means that we too are creative beings. We express this divine energy through our thoughts, and in doing so, we make manifest in our human experience. The creative process described in Genesis 1 isn't over yet. It continues through us as we bring more of this infinite energy into expression. If the word God carries baggage for you, you're not alone. Sometimes we need a new word, one that frees us from the limitations of old ideas. Some say spirit, some say divine love, some source, the infinite, presence, universal mind, or simply being. There's Allah, Yahweh, Brahman, the Tao. Some just say life. That being said, the name we choose matters, not because it changes what God is, but because it changes how we relate to it, how we feel about God. So moving beyond the word God has been part of expanding my consciousness. It helped me release old limiting ideas and embrace presence that is vast, loving, and beyond words. But here's the beautiful part. If the word God feels right for you, that's perfectly okay. What matters is that your understanding grows, expands, and makes space for the infinite. In truth, we are talking about God that fits no name. Charles Fillmore also said, "It is your mission to express all that you can imagine God to be." So if we see God as love, our mission is to be love. If we see God as wisdom, our mission is to embody wisdom. If we see God as life itself, our mission is to live fully. Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, gave us another beautiful reminder. She said, "The God in you is the God of all and draws to you all that is needed to make you happy and to make your life full and complete." God is in you. God is through you. God is not something to be reached out there, but something that is already here. Newton Dillaway, a great metaphysician of the 20th century, in his book called Consent, writes, "Words are of supreme importance in that they make impressions on the conscious mind and on the subconscious mind. And these impressions often shape the quality of our thinking and action." As we reflect on the power of words, it's important to acknowledge that sometimes certain words can trigger deep emotions or memories. When this happens, it's an invitation to pause and become curious about our reactions. Rather than avoiding or resisting these words, we can choose to respond with compassion and awareness. We can ask ourselves, what is this word triggering in me and why? By exploring the roots of our feelings, we can begin to heal old wounds and reframe our relationship with the word. And when others use words that don't resonate with us, Instead of judging or feeling defensive, we can gently replace those words in our minds with ones that feel more aligned with our own truth. It's a simple act of self-care, recognizing that we are empowered to choose what feels true and expansive for us. Ultimately, it's about giving ourselves the grace to process, release, and grow, knowing that our response to words has the power to shape our inner world. So at the end of the day, it's not about the name of God. It's about the experience. It's about the connection we have with something bigger than ourselves, something vast, sacred, beyond words. So what's in a word? Everything and nothing at all. It's the meaning we give it. So let us just sit with that for a moment and join in a short meditation. I invite you just to wiggle around to make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you too, and take a deep breath and just sigh it out. And as you do that, feel your shoulders drop and feel your body relax. One more time, deep breath and sigh it out. Let's allow ourselves to feel the presence of whatever name we are comfortable using for the divine. Allow yourself to feel it, whether you call it God, universal love, spirit, energy, source, divine, whatever name resonates with you. Feel it. Feel how wonderful and expansive and how it opens your heart, just bringing light into you because it's a word that resonates with you. Doesn't matter what other people use. That's good for them. And we love and respect that because we know that what's important is the experience of it. Picture this presence moving through you and around you in every cell of your body, connecting you to everything in existence. Notice how it feels, how loving, how infinite it is. Know that you are not separate from it. You are one with it. And let us just sit in the silence, feeling this presence, this light, this energy. Let's just sit in it for a couple of minutes. As you breathe, remember that this energy is within you. You carry it wherever you go, and it guides you in every moment. When you're ready, gently wiggle your body again. Just feel its presence and gently open your eyes, bringing a sense of peace and connection with you. Before we move on in our discussion after service, I want you to reflect a moment on what's your word. And if you feel comfortable, I'd love to hear some of your words. Thank you.